Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling, and really appreciate you guys coming by the channel to watch the video. Always appreciate that. Guys, today I have got a really good Ned rig modification I'm going to show you. There's actually 3 steps to this modification, and I have found out during the summer months, especially if you got clear water and especially if you got like spotted bass and smallmouth on the lakes you fish, this modification will literally double the amount of bites you get. I mean, without a doubt. So we're going to get into that in today's video. Also, guys, just a big thank you to everybody that's taken the time to subscribe here at Intuitive Angling. Really appreciate that. Right now, we got like 40% of the people that watch the videos are subscribed and 60% don't. So appreciate that. And also, guys, I will link everything in the description of this video in my tackle warehouse link. If you need any tackle or any Ned rig stuff, you can use that link. It's a good way to give back to the channel, and me and my family really appreciate it. So I'm very, very grateful for that. Okay, guys, first of all, the modification that I'm going to show you here, three of the aspects of this modification I developed on my own, and one of the modifications was shown to me by a fellow Bridgeford team member, Luke Clausen. Luke showed me this years ago, but the other 2 are sort of my part of it. But anyway, with this modification, I have just found out that if you've got 2 people fishing up front of the boat, let's say, for example, you're both fishing up front of the boat, and you're both casting to a main lake point, flat point that's got some clear water on it. With this modification, you are definitely going to outfish the angler who just uses a straight Ned rig. So we'll get into that. Now, first of all, here's the Ned rig that this is the Z-Man TRD, which is the most famous Ned rig out there, which it works. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't work. But one of the things that I have found that I like about it is I tend to use a full-size soft plastic stick bait. This is a Zoom Slinky. You can use a Senko or anything, because the reason I like the Senko or the Slinky is the fact that there's different amounts of salt in it, and you can actually control the diameter and the length of it a little bit more. If I want a longer one or a shorter one, you can do that. And then one of the things I'm going to show you is how you can modify this thing to make it look a little different. Now let me show you, for example, what I'm talking about here. Here's just the stock Zoom Slinky out of the package here. I want you to notice this tail, and then I'm going to take this one and I'm going to rough this one up. You guys have seen me talk about this a lot. This is a staple of the channel here. If you're not familiar with it, by roughing your soft plastics up like this, it brings the salt to the surface. And when you bring that salt to the surface, it actually softens the plastic up, and it creates a different color by bringing that salt up. I just think it makes it look a lot more natural. And the Zoom bait has about half the salt as a Senko, but so if you use a Senko, it's a little bit different. So here's the primary look difference on it. If you sort of see the look how it does on it, just sort of gives it a different coloration. See, the one that I just roughed up is a little bit lighter, a little bit more gnarly looking. That's the first part of it. The second part of it is creating the length of your Ned rig. Now, most people are going to fish a Ned rig about 3 inches long. Now, the technique that Luke showed me, which I'm going to show you here, is to basically take your 3-inch long Ned rig and cut it down to about 1.75 inches. And what Luke told me, he calls it a half a Ned. So it's a little bitty, just a little bitty tiny thing then. And then take your Ned rig hook there. And another thing about the Ned rigs, guys, it will really help you to go light as you can on the head. A lot of people fish a Ned rig on too heavy of a head, but I prefer like a 16th. So you've got this little bitty tidbit like this beetle. I've actually showed this before. And then one other modification I'm going to show you guys over here is to get my marking pen out here. Get your chartreuse marking pen. And this is the baby bass color here. It's a little bit different. But on any type of a green pumpkin and watermelon, just put a little bit of puff, just a little tiny bit of chartreuse right on the tail there. And there's something about just putting that little tiny bit of chartreuse on the very tip of the tail. It acts as an attractor, especially in cleaner water or waters that you have smallmouth in it. You probably see it a little bit better on this one here. See, just a little bit different look to it. Because one of the things that you got to realize on these Ned rigs is, since it's a clear water bait and this is a bottom bait, you got this Ned rig, on the bottom like this, and these fish a lot of times they will just, go down straight on like that, and they'll study that thing. And sometimes that little bit of chartreuse on the tail sometimes I think just makes it different. But anyway, guys, and then sometimes once you cut it down, sometimes you need to take a pair of scissors and sort of trim it up a little bit on the head to make it a little bit more flush against there. But anyway, guys, there it is. Modifications, half a Ned rig. Let me rig you one up here and I'll sort of show you what the difference is as far as how it looks next to this. This would be the same one in a traditional Ned rig length without any type of a modification like that, which I'm not saying you can't catch them like that, but the half a Ned will definitely get you a lot more strikes. Now, another thing that this is going to be highly productive in is if you're fishing any type of a smallmouth lake, you know, that has just smallmouth in it. I did really good up at Lake St. Clair in Michigan on this little half a Ned, and guys, giant smallmouth will hit this. It's like, if there's a 5-pound smallmouth in the lake, they will hit this thing just as well as they will a big bait. It's just a little bitty edible tidbit that you can get a hold of. But anyway, guys, give it a try. Like I said, a couple different factors that need to play here for the summertime is, like I said, you need to have water visibility of at least 3.5 or 4 feet. Ideally, I like water visibility of 5, 6, or 7 feet. And I found that this technique works really, really good on 2 different types of structures. Number one, throwing it along steep, bluffy channel banks, especially if you got a lot of spotted bass. And the second one is fishing it on the flatter gravel points on lakes that you have a mixed species or primarily smallmouth. It catches largemouth, don't get me wrong, but if you guys have a lake, like all you guys that fish some of those Tennessee smallmouth lakes, like Lake Cherokee and Lake Cumberland, this would be a perfect setup for it down there. And obviously all you guys that fish up on the Great Lakes or up north, it's gonna be a really good deal there. So anyway, guys, one of the things I would suggest, another good thing you can do on this is, like, if you're wacky rigging or if you're Texas rigging your soft plastic stick baits and you get the heads tore on them, don't throw them away. Just save them to use for Ned rigs, because I just think they catch more fish than the straight, you know, Ned rig baits that are designed for Ned rig fishing. So anyway, I hope it helps out, guys. We'll talk later.